In the 15th chapter of 1 Corinthians, of course, the Apostle Paul is writing to a pretty troubled church. The culture was maybe pretty similar to ours. It was a peninsula, kind of like Miami, Florida, where ethnically it was diverse, and there was a lot of things. I always say, first thing the sailors want to do when they come off the ship after being on the ocean for maybe weeks is go to church, right? You don't have to use your imagination much to realize that isn't the first thing on their agenda. They probably want to let off some steam and party and carry on, which is pretty much what the Corinthian church was dealing with. But Paul says this to them in the 15th chapter. What he says, what I have received, I pass on to you as of first importance. So whatever else is happening, it's secondary to this. And that is that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, that he was buried and that he raised on the third day, again, according to the Scriptures, and that he appeared to Peter and then to the 12. After that, he appeared to more than 500 of the brothers. These are eyewitnesses that we can read about. And it appeared to over 500 people, some who have fallen asleep. That means some who have already passed away. Now, across the page in the same chapter, some were asking, they weren't considering this to be as important. How are the dead raised? With what kind of body will they come? Now, Paul, I think, is kind of harsh here because he says, how foolish. That's a pretty big indictment to call somebody a fool. You know, why are you fooling around with what kind of a body will we have in the next life? That isn't of first importance. In fact, I believe that if a person actually knew what kind of body we would have, we'd have to duct tape our head because there just need to be parts going everywhere. But that's what they were passing their time doing, is worrying about those sort of things. Now, I'll say this. I am blessed to live in the country. And this time of the year, we categorically look at fields that are starting to sprout, and we can see the distinction now of green coming through the brown, or in other words, our garden. And we think, wow, that's life. But you know what had to happen to every multiple millions and billions and trillions of seeds that have been planted? They were planted for one reason, to die. And our perishable body is the same thing.